In this lesson, we're going to go over the 7501 basics. The 7501 is broken into three distinct areas. The top part of the screen is for the summary information. So as you're doing your invoices and your HTS lines, it is accumulating those values, and it will show you the total value, the total weight, and the total charges as you're doing your work. And then you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, it has the HMF and MPF checked off as needed. The informal fees and all of that is built in. If you did check the RLF in the base file entry, then it would check here so that you'll always know that you did do, or you set the system up to do an RLF entry. The middle of the screen is the invoice information, and this is where you do enter the invoices separately. And then at the bottom of the screen is where you're going to put in your HTS numbers. And we'll go through that right now. So we're going to do a basic entry. And we're going to put number 1, because this is going to be our first invoice. So if you had a second invoice, once you're done with the first one, you would put a number 2 there, 3, 4, so on and so forth. If you have seen our other training videos or have used our tool, you'll know that whenever you see a down arrow, that means there's more information. So for the pay type, you have your insurance, CIF, or DDP entries, so you would put in whatever type of entry that you're working on. Then we're going to enter our commercial invoice number. Invoice number. Then it takes us down to the currency. We default US dollars, but here's where you would put in whatever the foreign currency is, Japanese yen, or again, whatever it is. The system will go out and it will find the exchange rate based on the export date that you put in the base file. There is a video on currency exchange available to you. Now we're going to put in the value of this particular invoice. If we had any non-dutiable charges, they would go there. Now we'll put in our weight. Now we're going to go enter a product or a tariff number. So if you did have products in the system, and there is a video on how to enter products, it's a great feature. I recommend all of you looking at that video on how to enter the product codes. So in this case, we will choose the electronics product code. And then you see that the system now is able to pull the HTS number in, the country of origin, the country of export, and then you're one step ahead of the game as you go and put in your values. So now we'll put in the line value, and in this case we'll put in 40,000. We're going to do a 2-line entry. The weight and the charges defaults for you. Notice here, there's an X here, which means there's no net value necessary, or actually no other value necessary for this particular tariff number. We have our tariff rate, and you can also see the tariff rate on the right-hand side of the screen here. Here's where you can put in your MID, and you could do a lookup based on the MID itself. You can look it up by the name of the MID. If you leave the MID blank, then the system will pop up a window showing you or asking you who is the manufacturer and their address, and will create the MID for you on the fly, and you can send that off to customs all from one window. Again, there's another video specifically for adding MIDs. Now in this case, you got a pop-up window saying there's an FCC option. Because we put in an electronics HTS number, the system knows that you should be entering FCC information. If you're not going to enter the FCC information, and again, there's going to be another video specifically for FCC, so if you are doing an FCC entry, go ahead and look at that. In our case, we're just going to disclaim it off the system, and then what the system's going to do is it's going to update and take us to line 2. And the reason it's line 2 is we only used $40,000 out of the $50,000. When we have used up all the value of the invoice, then the system will take us up to the invoice number, letting us know that we've used up all the value for this particular invoice. Now in this next case, for the second number, I'm just going to go in and type in a tariff number, and the system will go find the valid tariffs. We will default the country of export and the country of origin for you, and if you leave the line value blank, then the system will go and use up whatever the rest of the value that's remaining for that invoice. And in this case, it's asking for T for tons to put in here. So we're just going to put 1. You can also see that there is 0 tariff rate, and there's 0 here, so all you're paying on that line is MPF. And we carried over the MID. So as soon as we hit enter, since we've used up all our value, the system takes us up to put in invoice number 2. So if you had a second invoice, a third invoice, fourth invoice, that's how the system works. It's now expecting invoice 2. That is all there is to entering the 7501. Now to send it to customs, you would click on the satellite dish, and that will bring up a screen. We will automatically bring up the payment date. We will automatically check off the payment type based on what you put in the customer file. We will also check off whether it's going to be paperless, if you want cargo release to go with the 7501. All of that is done here. Now, if you do PMS, then you can click on the PMS number, and it will ask you for the periodic statement month, and we will default that for you as well. Also, notice at the top of the screen we can send through the ACE system as well as ABI. Once you're done sending, you can go print. Now you can print at any time. I'm just showing it to you after we demo sent it. And you've got your 7501 that can be printed, emailed, faxed, whatever you would like to do with that file. When ABI results come back, you can click on the ABI history button. Now in this case, there's not going to be anything in the history file, but this will show you every transaction to and from customs. Other features within the system, when you click on the button, the menu button on the right-hand side, we handle doing a customer bond. You can consolidate your 7501. You can, down here, you can do a prorate of the file. So if you don't know the weight and the charges within each invoice, just leave those blank, put in your values, and when you're done entering all of your invoices, you would click on this, and it will ask you for a total for all of your invoices, and then it will prorate it for you within the system, so you don't have to do that as well. That is the 7501 basics. Feel free to go look at the other videos with the advanced features that we've discussed, and have fun using the system.